Hello, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We're breaking down all the latest sports news that you need to know. KD is stirring the pot. He's back up to his old ways, and we have some bad news from Dr. Fauci. Getting into all of that in just a second, but first, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment below. You guys, here is the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Hey guys, it's Jackie Ray. You can find me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
So you guys, I decided to move my little at-home setup to the fire department here in Los Angeles. If you hear a fire alarm going off, they're testing it in my building. So just try to ignore it. I'll mute if I need to, but that's why you might hear that. Anyway, you guys, I have some really fun and exciting news for all of you. Last night in Florida, they had 3,207 new COVID-19 cases overnight. So, a new record.
Surprise!
I know, like, I can't say that anyone should be surprised by this, but it is still kind of a shock, and it's a little bit worrisome considering the NBA is planning on picking back up in Orlando. People are saying that Florida is on its way to becoming the next epicenter, so I'm wondering how it's going to be even safe to send all these athletes over there to quarantine and play the games. I feel concerned about all of the entertainment that they're providing, all of the amenities, those manicurists, the pedicurists, the live... There we go.
The live bells. Oh my God.
Comedians, all these different things, all the employees, they're going to have to make sure that everyone is following the same protocol. It seems like it's going to be very difficult to keep that bubble actually safe and secure. So Jackie, I want to ask you, does this make you question even more if Orlando is the right location for the NBA bubble?
I've always questioned if Orlando was anything Florida related. I'm always going to question if that's the place anybody should be ever about anything. So, yeah, no, this just keeps me in the same place I've always been. So, yeah, still not sure about Florida.
Yeah. Well, we've seen the NBA encounter quite a few obstacles recently. We've had, Kyrie encouraging the season to just cancel completely. People are worried about the pandemic. They're worried about taking attention away from the Black Lives Matter movement. So do you see now with these record number of cases happening in Florida overnight, is this going to become even more of an obstacle for the NBA to tackle? Britt, what are your thoughts?
No, I feel like they already have been planned who's going to be there. Everything's going to be cleaned out. It's not like any people that are outside of this bubble can come inside the bubble. It's just going to be the bubble. So as far as their game plan, it's still going to stay the same, I believe. And Florida also is one of the newer states that just started allowing testing amongst everybody, which they didn't have before, like California's had for a while. So it's going to be an increase in numbers because now everybody can get tested. So I don't really see that as I think people should pump your brakes a little bit because it's just a lot more testing now that is available. So that's why people are testing positive more because more people are allowed to get tested. So, but obviously it's Florida. So I wasn't surprised. They were the last ones to jump on the boat for quarantining, and they were the first ones to jump back on the beach for, just living life and doing whatever they wanted to do. So I'm not surprised, obviously, because Florida hasn't really been practicing anything this whole entire time. But as far as the bubble, I think the NBA will continue as, they planned on it because it was going to be a bubble anyway. I was talking to one of my guy friends who plays for the Rockets yesterday, and I kind of felt bad because I was making fun of him a little bit, oh, you better turn up now before you get locked in your dungeon. And he's like, haha, that is not funny. And he was talking about the families getting, I'm like, you guys get to have the families come, you're cool. But when we get there actually July 8th, that they have to start going to train and stuff, and families can't come till August 23rd. So it is obviously a little longer than 6-7 weeks. But then I also thought, I'm people go fight wars and they don't get to see their family for a whole year. I don't feel that bad for them. It's a bubble and you guys get to play video games day anyway that you guys do anyway. So I just feel like, I don't know. You guys, they'll be okay. Like, I don't know.
I just don't think it's going to be that secure. I feel like where there's a will, there is a side chick way, and somebody is going to know somebody on the door. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Don't you worry.
Somebody's getting in. That's all I'm saying. And it's going to be like,
it's going to be. Kilo is on the case. Don't even worry about it. We're good. They'll be all right.
I feel with you though, Jackie. Like, I'm thinking about, and not even sneaking side chicks in, I'm thinking about the barbers and all of this, these hired people to, you know, perform these different like tasks, like the manicures and the comedy and the DJ sets. Like, how are they going to guarantee that everybody has been properly quarantined? They're not going to be bringing in coronavirus and infecting the players. That's what I am wondering about. And then also, of course, the side chick dilemma, because someone is going to be able to sneak a side chick in there. We know it's going to happen. Katya Elise Henry is going to be braiding somebody's hair. So we just need to figure out what's going to happen there.
Right.
Chris, what is your takeaway from all of this?
Oh, Jackie took the words right out of my mouth. I was never a fan of it being in Orlando. I was just a fan of the NBA being back. And if Orlando was a spot, Orlando was a spot. I had said, well, this is before it opened up, but I was like firm believer of Vegas. I thought Vegas should have been the move. I think that should have been the bubble. But now that it's opened up, I don't know how they would have worked that out, because there's still going to be, you know, like my boy on Post Up last week smoking with his mask down and then putting it back up, acting like he cares. So I don't know how that would have worked out now, knowing that it's opened up. But yeah, I mean, it's to be expected because it's Florida. So hey, I don't know. Like Britt said, hopefully them being enclosed in their areas, meaning that it's still keeping all the crazies outside. So probably hopefully won't affect them too much. So we'll see.
Well, the NBA sure is running into a lot of little bumps along the way on their journey to try and get the season back up and running again. But let's jump into the first need-to-know news story. It's still kind of on theme with what we were just talking about. So KD is stirring the pot on this whole Kyrie NBA restart battle. So Kyrie Irving has taken a firm stand against restarting the NBA season because he feels like it'll be a distraction from the Black Lives Matter movement. He led that 80-player Zoom call that we talked about earlier this week on Friday about sitting out for the resumption of the season. Players were talking about how they felt about everything. They were raising their different concerns, and there have been a number of athletes who have come out in support of and in opposition to Kyrie's stance. Kendrick Perkins is the latest one to not see eye to eye with him. He called Kyrie out saying, quote, "Right now you are the distraction. You are the distractor. Let's sit out without a plan. It makes zero sense, and I totally disagree." He continued his rant by saying, quote, "No one is listening to him. The NBA is going to continue. All he's doing is causing unnecessary drama between the NBA brothers that we don't need right now. Him lashing out is just making news and a whole bunch of noise for nothing because the NBA season is going to happen." But we all know how KD loves to get involved in some drama on social media, so I don't think any of us really expected him to stay quiet for very long. He decided to chime in, and he called Kendrick Perkins a sellout under this Instagram post that's on your screen right now. And then he retweeted a video of Kendrick airballing a jumper. So obviously KD is, there you can see the red circle with the comment. I wonder if he meant to send that from one of his burner accounts, but we know it was Katie who wrote that one. So that he's obviously showing that he's on Kyrie's side here, and also perpetuates that feud that's going on between him and Kendrick. And then Kyrie also recently spoke out and said that he feels like he's being unfairly criticized for his actions. According to Brandon Scoop Robinson, Kyrie feels attacked and scapegoated. He says that things have been blown out of proportion and that his conference call was just meant to be an outlet for players to express their concerns about going to Orlando. So, Britt, I want to go to you first. Does Kyrie deserve to be dragged and called out as he has been, or do you think people are being too hard on him?
I don't think people are being too hard on him at all, because the whole thing people are even saying is, that's cool, bro, if you feel like that, but you need a game plan. And he decided to speak without having any kind of plan and decided to like, oh, I'm going to start this, movement, but I don't know where I'm taking y'all. I don't know where we going. Let's just start walking. Like, you need a pathway, you need a plan, and you need to know what you're doing. And he didn't know what he was doing. And sorry, you're a grown man. You should have figured that out before you opened your mouth and started a whole entire coalition. Like, this is what we're doing, and you don't have anywhere to take these people, and you don't know what the plan is. So I don't think people are even pressing him really like that. They're just like, okay, bro, that's cool, but what's your plan? That's literally just asking, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? What's the game plan? Like, and that is a fair question to ask, because that's what we all want to know. Like, it is, I don't think anybody's set up here and said that Kyrie doesn't have right to feel the way he does, but he also needs to have an action plan of what he's going to do if he's going to try to lead these NBA players anywhere.
Right. And starting a whole new league isn't really a plausible one. So, Jackie, I want to go to you on this next question. Wait, what was that, Britt?
I believe that one's fake news. I can't go
right. Yeah, I don't buy that one at all.
Me neither, but I just had to throw it in there. Jackie, do you think it's fair for KD to call Kendrick Perkins? Sorry, guys.
A ring out. I was playing.
A sellout when people said the same thing about him when he went to the Warriors?
So when he went to the Warriors, the term applied because he literally went to a team that he couldn't beat. In this particular instance, I hate the term sellout because you're basically saying a man, now whether you agree with what he's saying or not, this is a totally different atmosphere that you're using this word in. You're using this word about a movement, and as Black people, I just think that we should refrain from using any terms about each other that cause disdain or any type of backlash. I do get what KD's saying. I get that he's saying that you look just like what Britt said. You don't have a plan. You just got us on this movement. You don't have a plan, but a lot of times that's how it goes. Rosa Parks didn't have a plan. She was just tired. You know what I mean? Colin Kaepernick clearly didn't have a plan because he never told us. But if he literally started a movement on his own. So I think that sometimes if you get in it, just like I said about Colin Kaepernick, maybe he heard enough people saying to him whatever they were saying, and he felt, let me start this coalition. Maybe during that conversation with those 80 players on the phone, you could have said, okay, guys, this is our plan. We're gonna sit. What else can we do? But apparently, if those questions were asked, he didn't disclose it. But I don't think he should be dragged for saying, hey, we're in the middle of this movement. I think we should stay in this movement. Like I said, I'm on the fence about that anyway. And if somebody wants to stay in the fight, I don't think that they should be drugged for staying in the fight. And especially from KD. Mm-hmm. Anybody else but KD.
I get that. So, Chris, Kendrick, after all of this went down, Kendrick said that he took it light on Kyrie and he really could have gone in and exposed him even more. Do you think that he should keep inserting himself into this drama? And what else do you think he has in his back pocket to expose?
Yeah, we're gonna go into that a little bit more on post up, but briefly, all I can say about that is it's just I hate in any way, shape, or form when someone says, "Oh well, I could do this, but I choose not to." I don't care what the context is. I don't care how it's said, and that's what Kendrick Perkins is doing in this instance. You even see other NBA players respond to him on that, like, if you got something to say, then say it. Don't try and turn it into gossip, and that's how I feel about that situation. And also with this whole Kendrick Perkins going in on Kyrie, I just feel like if this was any other player that even handled it the exact same way as Kyrie, I don't know if Perkins would have the same energy on it, because I just feel like because of his beef with Kyrie from the whole Boston Celtics situation and how he feels about him when he was a Celtic, I feel like that's why he's going a little bit extra on Kyrie with all this. So I don't know. I just feel like this is all personal, and he's using that as an opportunity to attack him on what Kyrie's in the news for right now, and I firmly believe that that's the case with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they have a long-standing beef, right?
100%. Yeah.
The channel that's going to be like say more now, because Chris just basically was like, no KD or no Perk, if you have something to say it. We're changing.
You're right. Look, I need to say more on
this week only. This week only, because we don't want people getting excited.
But you know what?
Be careful with that.
I think when anybody decides to come out and threaten us with gossip or threaten us with truth, you
Right.
need to say more. And,
gotta say
and
it,
if
man.
you, yeah, you can't come out.
I
and
thought
be
he
like,
said what he had to say, though. I thought he made it clear.
We
like,
all
look,
did,
Kyrie,
Jackie, but then-
you being
But
you
that's the
being a
thing, we all did.
distraction.
Right, he said a lot of things, and then he left off with saying, "I got more, but I ain't gonna say." And it's just like, yo, you got more to say? That you already went off for like 2 hours on
Right.
Twitter. Then keep going. You might as well say it all.
Either say
Right.
it on that
Yeah.
line and don't say it, or if you're going to say
Yeah.
it, you need to say more.
Right,
Exactly.
So leave that one line out or keep
Right.
going.
Yes.
That's where we at.
Or-
Okay. All right.
I'm also kind of enjoying seeing all of this Kendrick, Kyrie, KD stuff going down. So in this whole situation, I would like people to be saying more. Okay, well, speaking of saying more, Dr. Fauci has given us some more information about what the future could look like for football, and I don't think it's going to be good. So the NFL is planning to start its season on time, and they also want all 32 teams playing in their own stadiums. Dr. Fauci thinks that that is way too optimistic. He thinks that the NFL should follow in the NBA's footsteps and quarantine players in a bubble to prevent the spread of coronavirus. He said, quote, "Unless players are essentially in a bubble, insulated from the community, and they are tested nearly every day, it would be very hard to see how football is able to be played this fall." He continued on saying, quote, "If there is a second wave, which is certainly a possibility and which would be complicated by the predictable flu season, football may not happen this year." So, and if football is able to come back, it'll likely look very different. Players will have possible modified face masks embedded in their helmets, single-use hydration containers, and physical distancing masks on the sidelines. So, Chris, I want to ask you first. If players do have to wear helmets that have built-in masks in them, how do you think that will impact their stamina and their energy during a game? Because I know for me, maybe I'm just extremely weak. I know I joke about being really strong and athletic, but I'm not. I get weak, and I mean, I get winded when I'm just walking up a hill wearing a mask. So I couldn't imagine playing an entire football game. Do you think that this is going to have a negative effect on how the players are able to perform on the field?
I personally don't think so. A lot of these guys already work out with masks to add to their stamina. You see guys that be on bikes or that will be on the treadmill, and they'll have those masks that are, of course, they'll help you breathe, but they're meant to help build their stamina. And I feel like that would be the same type of mask. They won't be just throwing on some like cloth mask on a helmet, hoping that would work. I'm sure that they would do it so it can help them breathe while also making sure it's keeping any kind of, contact between you and the other player. I've already actually seen some mock-ups of some people who are in like design and stuff like that have some ideas of how they would look like, and they all look pretty similar. And I not to say that's what the NFL is going to do, but all of them have the same idea that it's something that could work as a mess. So I think it won't really affect them too much. These guys they train, they prepare for that kind of stuff, and I think they won't have an issue. And if they don't train and prepare for that, they should start training and prepare for that, because a mask is probably the best case scenario. I mean, it's what's going to have to happen if we want to see football come back. So.
Gosh, wow, makes me feel really out of shape hearing that. Can't even hill. Okay, Britt, I want to go to you for this one. Do you see the NFL adopting a similar strategy as the NBA and putting players in a bubble for the whole season, or do you think that's going to be too difficult considering they have more players to accommodate for, and it's for a longer period of time since their season would just be starting like that?
I don't think that that's something that the NFL could do. It's not possible. I don't see that happening. There's too much personnel and players and whatever, like that's literally per team, up to 100 people at least per team, and there's 32 teams. So you're really going to tell me over 3,000 people are going to be like in a space? And that doesn't include any extra people that you guys have. Like I know the NBA's, it's going to be about 1,600, I think they're going to have total, and that's including all the manicurists and the 3 family members that each player gets and whatever the case is. But that's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That would be silly to even think. And then if they already aren't going to do it for training camp, then it's not going to happen for the season, because training camp, if these guys can just, at some point be around other people or their families come up there for practices like they always have been before. I just don't see that why go into the season and do the same thing. And if it got to a point of that, the NFL is not prepared to do that. So I just don't see it happening. There's no city where all the NFL teams can fit together in one bubble and do one like that. There's no place for that.
I know it would definitely be difficult, and it's disheartening to hear Dr. Fauci say that should happen when it does seem literally impossible. So Jackie, the league has gone to great lengths to guarantee that they're going to start on time. But with this news, are you doubting that now? Have you always been doubting that? What do you think about this?
I mean, so far how we've dealt with this pandemic went exactly how I thought it would go. I thought that one day we would just wake up and our leaders would be like, okay, that was fun, but we're done. And that's kind of what happened. You know, they just said it's time to, you know, virus be damned. It's time for us to try to get back to some normalcy. And I don't think that that's going to change. You know, when we talk about the business of football and how much it makes. And I think that the NFL has a very unique opportunity because they get to look at other other leagues to see the money that they're losing. And so they're like, nah, we're going to do a preemptive strike to make sure we don't do that. So I don't think it's going to change anything. And I think that my only thing that I would really be curious about, and I've said this about all the leagues, is who is going to be out with a injury, you know, that's actually COVID-19, because maybe they're going to start hiding that kind of information because they don't want people to panic. And then, you know, we'll find out years later that, oh, so-and-so had COVID-19 and not whatever toe injury that they told us, you know. So that's my only thing. But at the same time, we've been saying since day one, you know, everyone's healthy. Von Miller had asthma and he recovered just fine from this situation. So we're talking about athletes who are in relatively good shape. They don't have most of them don't have pre-existing conditions. So I think it would be easy for them to cover that up. I think the league knows that. So I think they're going to push forward business as usual.
Well, I guess we'll have to see, you guys, but that wraps up Need to Know News. So Chris, take it away with the post up.
Yes, it's time for post up. It's your boy Chris, quarantine edition. We are talking about the playoffs coming right up and playing in Orlando and stuff like that. And we also talked about KD a little bit and, you know, him snaking his way over to the Warriors. Now, I bring up the Warriors because whenever we think of the playoffs and Warriors, you always think, yeah, that another season we're going to see them in the playoffs and they'll probably be fighting for a championship. Well, this year it's a little different. They're doing a little throwback Thursday, and they will not be in the playoffs, and they will not be contending this year because of the injuries and obviously everything they went through. But the Warriors are embracing the stink. Okay, they out here posting a very supposed to be dramatic and supposed to be like, you know, epic video of the return is gonna be sweet kind of thing. They posted this video, if we can get it up, of Steph Curry shooting at all areas within the arc, getting ready for next year because we know we won't be playing right now, but we'll be ready to be back in the thing next year. So Warriors are out here trying to make sure that they I don't know, hype themselves up. I don't know. I saw this and I just see Steph Curry all over the place making shots. I'm like, cool, I guess. I didn't even press because, you know, like you see videos and they're already muted. I didn't even realize that there was music behind it, and the music is very dramatic. And I was just like, okay, all right, Warriors, you know, that's great. I dare the Knicks to do something like that because we'll just look just as foolish. I mean, the Warriors are probably going to be better. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, thanks, but no thanks. Go away. On to the next one. We were talking about Kyrie Irving, and or yesterday we talked about Kyrie Irving and all the backlash and all the flack he was getting because of, you know, speaking up for other players that I guess had feelings towards coming back in July, and that would be taken away from the protests and taken away from the attention that this movement is getting right now, which then we also talked about the coalition that he and a few other players started. I think more specifically, like Dwight Howard is one of the other guys that we've been seeing become very vocal with this. And Dwight Howard yesterday dropped an extremely long letter to explain what the coalition, what the goal is, coming up with the league coming up in late July. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I do have 2 lines from this that I do want to read because I think it clears up some questions that people were having when it came to this, because people were thinking, are they trying to cancel the league altogether? Or what will happen with this? What will happen with that? So I just want to read 2 lines from this message. I want to hear you guys' opinion on it. But he started off the entire letter saying, contrary to popular belief, we are not attempting to halt the resumption of the basketball season in Orlando. It would be silly to think we could stop a force as powerful as the NBA, nor would we want to, considering the wonderful opportunities they have afforded us. He went on later on in the article to say, our main objective is to raise awareness and gain transparency on the thing that concern us collectively. Many of us fellow players are afraid to voice their concerns and are continuing to follow along with what they believe they have to. So cool. And I mean, the majority of it is about that. I mean, he goes in more detail. I implore, if you guys want to know, go check it out. It's on his Twitter. But I still have a question. We're talking about, and you heard Britt say it very well yesterday, we're talking about all this being well and good and nobody's against it. It's just, what's the actual plan then? And now that even confuses me a little bit more, because you're saying that, they're not trying to stop the season. Right, and I don't think anyone thought you were trying to stop the season, but you are trying to. There are a majority of players that are going to be going out and stuff like that, and obviously, teams will have to do what they have to do with that. Bring in G League players, bring in free agents, whatever it may be. And I just want to bring this to you first, Jackie. After seeing some of what Dwight Howard said, I don't know if you read the whole thing. I honestly didn't even read the entire thing, but seeing this and having him cleared up just a little bit, knowing that they are the point. What we already know. The point of this was to have the players that are not Kyrie Irving or are not Dwight Howard have an opinion and say something where it can be heard through these guys. But do you think that this coalition that they formed together, that they're going to go forward with, do you think that they really can do anything without, I don't know, somewhat not attacking, but somewhat going against the league coming back in July? Do you think that they can do that without, I don't know, playing? I still don't really entirely know how they would go forward without, I don't know, opposing the NBA coming back in late July.
Yeah, I think they'll ultimately have to stand down. I think they can't go forward with this whole we're not going to play thing, because I think they've seen enough to know that it's not going to be enough of them, number one. And I did like what Dwight said, that we have some guys that are fearful to say certain things, and we wanted to make sure their voices get heard. So I definitely appreciated him say that was the main objective. And like Britt said yesterday, you can be heard without not playing. Like I said, they can literally come to the NBA with a list of 10 things that they want to do. The NBA is going to relent on at least 2 of them off top, just because that's who the NBA has proven that they, whether they're completely equal in everything is not the point. The point is when the players come to them, they listen and they try to do their best to relent on certain things. So ultimately, I think this coalition might actually be a good thing, because even though I do think they'll all play, obviously there's enough of them that have a problem with certain things that now they can come together in a safe place and they can have their voices heard, and maybe they can come up with a plan and go to the NBA with that. But ultimately, I think they're all going to realize that this whole let's all sit out thing is just going to be futile, because it's just not enough of them. So I think they'll stand down and present a plan. At least I hope.
I hope is the keyword. But I think we're all in agreement with that. That if they do go about this the right way, which I expect them to. I think that a lot of this got sidetracked with Kyrie Irving and then the him trying to build a league and stuff like that. I think all of what they're actually trying to do did get sidetracked because of Kyrie and stuff like that. I'm not even going to blame Kyrie for that, but because the news surrounding Kyrie Irving, they got the whole idea and the whole plan with this coalition got derailed. And I think Dwight Howard dropping this message was a good way to bring that back a little bit. And I'm for it. And like you said, if it's done the right way, and I do expect them to do it the right way. I think it will be done the right way. I think the conversation will go in a better direction than it has been this past week, and we'll see what comes from that. But this was from Dwight. Look at Dwight out here. Dwight Howard out here, man. Turning things around.
Articulate and whatnot.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. I mean, even though we don't probably some for the free, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna take it for face value. Right.
He did it all by himself.
I'll pop to Dwight. You did good. Good job, Dwight Howard. Moving on to this next one. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I know this one is more for the chat than it is for the panel. So the lovely ladies of the Fumble Squad, I do apologize. And if you don't keep up with what's going on, I completely understand, because if you don't care, you shouldn't care. I get it. It's not really that crazy, but it is kind of crazy because I know the little kids in the chat going to be excited about it. I was kind of hyped about it too. But basically what happened was we got some 2K drama, okay? I wish I had like a little alarm, like 2K drama, 2K alert. Anyways, but we have some 2K drama. Now, we know I'm not a fan of Ronnie 2K. I've made that very, very vocal on this show. The few times that we talked about him, few too many times if you ask me, that we've talked about him. Well, lately, people, of course, know, I'm sure in the chat, know about Flight. Flight Reacts. Flight 23 White on Twitter. Flight Reacts. FTC, Flight Crew. Y'all know Flight, okay? So he is a big figure within 2K, and now even in the basketball world, because now June Flight has been taking over because he was out here grinding and preparing to face off against all the 2K, or excuse me, all the YouTube ballers and stuff like that. So Flight is just out here growing and, you know, getting a lot more support than he has in the past. But the thing is, Flight has always been relatively big, and he's known for streaming on 2K, known for more of what he says while he's streaming on 2K, but he's known for streaming on 2K. Fact of the matter is, all these big 2K streamers get picked up by NBA 2K. You know, they go and represent the game, but for whatever reason, Flight was always left off the list. Fans would be upset about it. Fellow YouTubers and fellow streamers would be upset about it. Hell, NBA players are upset about it. You got guys like Miles Turner, Devin Booker, all of these NBA players out here like, yo, show Flight some love. Well, here we are in 2020. Like I said, Flight has been growing. Hell, Flight had a whole meme that he started, that with the whole look at Curry, man, so much great. Now Flight started that, and me and Curry even recognized it. So Flight out here, he's doing just fine. And now all of a sudden 2K is trying to act like they care. 2K, or excuse me, Ronnie is acting like he cares. Ronnie dropped this tweet yesterday to Flight saying, I'm gonna do it in my Ronnie voice. Flight, check your DMs. I'm so proud of your growth in the community, and I want to.
What the hell is happening?
I want you involved, so I want to. This is how he talks. Look at Ronnie. This is how Ronnie talks. I am so proud of your growth and the community, and I want you involved. So I want to talk to you. Hit me up. And my man Flight, all this time, after a few years of being ridiculed and banned and blackballed from 2K, this man took a stand, responded to this tweet saying, nah, I'm good. Too late for all that. Peace emoji. Everyone went crazy on Twitter. It was like, all the, like, you hold this, is your crown, da, da, da. That's right, take that 2K, blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to give some shine to Flight, because he could have easily been like, yeah, finally, because he was really upset about not being part of 2K, but he went up there, bigger man. He's like, I know my worth. I'm out here growing, and now all of a sudden you want me. So here it is. I just want to show some love to Flight. I know the chat. I'm looking at the chat right now. They're going in on it too. But yeah. So go ahead, Flight, and yes, Ronnie 2K. Boom, get him out of here. That's it for 2K drama of the century. Thanks for listening. Now moving back to Post Up. We have a video that was going viral yesterday of a cop, a cop that was off duty, and she was going to McDonald's, and she was upset because she did not get her egg McMuffin. She tried to turn it into something else, but baseline was she didn't get her egg McMuffin, and she wasn't very happy about it. But in the video, she talks about, she went off, she's off the clock, and she was going to McDonald's to pick up an egg McMuffin and some coffee. She decided to pay for it online, so she'd just be picking it up, because normally as a cop, you go through lines, and I guess people were paying for her stuff, and she didn't want that. Well, in this case, she was in line waiting for her food, and it was taking a long time, and only to then get called up to the top of the line to just get her coffee after waiting for a long time, when she just ordered a coffee and McMuffin. And she went on to say this, if we could play the video.
That's all she hands me is the coffee. So I told her, I said, don't bother with the food, because right now I'm too nervous to take it. It doesn't matter how many hours I've been up. It doesn't matter what I've done for anyone. Right now I'm too nervous to take a meal from McDonald's because I can't see it being made. I don't know what's going on with people nowadays. But please, just give us a break. Please.
Not the break.
Cut it right there with the hair thing.
Kit Kat. That's Kit Kat. Give me a break. You at McDonald's, not Kit. You ain't asking for a Kit Kat. Stop it.
I don't know what is going on with people today.
Like I ain't never. First of all, you out there eating the egg McMuffin. That's first of all nasty. That's what we still doing. That's how we starting our day. Really? This could have been a blessing. This could have been the last egg McMuffin that your heart could take, and the universe found a way to intervene. And instead of you looking at it as a blessing, you out here talking about no.
Well,
No.
you obviously can hear the reaction from us on this panel. And you know how we feel about that. And our sentiments were echoed by CJ McComb, who dropped this tweet to this same video. We even responded to the video, and the video was then eventually taken down. CJ McCollum dropped a tweet saying, well, I hope you got the same energy towards police brutality. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Happy Wednesday. That was CJ McCollum being very nice about the situation. I feel like that was the best way to handle that. I have no more words for that. Jackie hit that right there. You see this, you saw that video and just how tone deaf it really was. And I mean, you can try and turn it into what you want to turn it out. I saw a video of you crying because you didn't get your Egg McMuffin. You were scared to get your Egg McMuffin because I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, Britt, can I get you real quick? We heard Jackie give her opinion. Britt, you saw that video. I just want to know, you saw that video. How did you feel when you just saw that video? I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let you react.
So I tweeted about it yesterday when I saw it. Mental illness is real. This is why not everybody should be a police officer, because she's up here crying about what somebody possibly did to her Happy Meal. She's going to be the same woman with a 12-year-old kid that has a toy gun because she don't know what's going on. Like, I'm sorry, like she should not be an officer because she clearly is not mentally right in the head. It's those that are scared of some shit like that, or tripped out, or getting all nervousy and stuff like that, that should not be cops, because they get trigger happy because they're like, oh no, this black guy's coming near me, bang, 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 and they shoot him. Like, that's exactly, that woman right there is exactly what a lot of those people that have shot people and killed black people, that's how they are. That they're off and they're scared and they feel like they can't handle. You can't even handle being drive-through line, and what it's McDonald's. There's a long line of people. Your stuff isn't here yet because nobody's stuff is here yet because they're backed up. And you think somebody's freaking messing with your food and you tripping out about, like, bye. Like, she needs to be
ordered
fired
online.
She's mentally ill.
Right. Yeah, that's my thing. You ordered online. They didn't know, like, there's no notification saying cop just ordered, and they get no. You ordered online. The food was already like, well said, Britt. Go ahead, Britt. Reacts. You heard it here. I think that was the perfect response by CJ. You heard our responses here. That's all the time I'm gonna give that. Moving on to the next one. That was viral yesterday. I'm going on to the next one. We going back to Kendrick Perkins. We talked about it briefly at the top, and yes, like I was mentioned there, Kendrick Perkins went crazy. Not only just on Get Up in the morning, he went crazy. He was going off on Twitter on Kyrie and this and that and third and the fourth, and on all his opinions and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, to me, this is all just personal. I feel like this is all personal, and this could have been, if this was Kemba Walker feeling the exact same way, I don't feel like it would have turned into what it turned into. The problem is this is Kyrie Irving, who is already not supposed to be playing when the league comes back. So now it sounds kind of weird for him to be having this opinion in some people's eyes. A and B, this is flat Earth Kyrie Irving. So now people are going to take anything he says with a grain of salt, and now they're going to try and turn it the way that it's being turned right now. And Kendrick Perkins has his beef because they've had their beef for a long time. Anyways, all that being said, Kendrick Perkins went in on Kyrie on Twitter, on Get Up, and then he decided to end off his whole rant by tweeting this that you see right here, and saying, excuse my last tweet, but I really took it light on Kyrie today because I really could expose the cupcake BS that he's really doing behind those phone conversations. Carry on, ... Now, again, I honestly, real talk, I don't care enough either way, because like I said, when you have a beef with somebody, to me your opinion goes a little, like, I don't really take your opinion too seriously, because I feel like you're already gonna have feel some sort of way about something. Like if you guys came on here and let's say the Brooklyn Nets are in the finals and you guys ask me a serious question like, "Yo, how you think Brooklyn Nets?" I'm gonna sit here and you know what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna be happy about it, even though I know they're a better team. I'm not gonna sit here and say anything positive about the Brooklyn Nets. So that's how I feel about this situation with Kendrick Perkins and Kyrie. It's just like it's hard for me to hear how he really feels about the situation pertaining to Kyrie Irving, knowing how he actually feels about Kyrie Irving the person. That tweet right there is proof right there. It's like, oh, you got to turn it into a whole, like, I got gossip, but I ain't going to give it to you guys. Wilson Chandler responded saying, like, yo, don't be dangling gossip in front of us. If you actually have something to say it. And there was other NBA players, other people that were saying the same sentiment. So, Devin, I'm coming to you for this one. You see this tweet, especially knowing, like, you reading the quote that you read earlier from Get Up, you know that he has a very strong opinion on Kyrie and how he feels about this. I know we briefly talked about it earlier, but seeing this tweet, trying to like dangle a carrot in front of us, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel so annoyed. I mean, I'm just repeating myself from earlier on the show, but I feel like you should not threaten us with good gossip. If you have information to expose, don't tease us about it. Just come out with it or don't say anything at all. I find this kind of thing so annoying when people do this. So I wish he just would have told us. I find it frustrating and irritating.
Yeah, in more cases than not, when they do this whole dangling thing, it's either A, not that great, or B, they really ain't got nothing. They just gonna act like they have something to make us keep wanting to see what Kendrick Perkins has to say next. But I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead, Perk. Like Britt said in this case, I'm stamping say more because we want to know. If you really got something to say, actually say it. But I feel like there's actually nothing to be said. But we'll see how that goes. And last but not least, I'm gonna send you guys into what we not gonna do with a bit of. My version of what we not going to do. And what we not going to do is we not going to send your smallest, worst defender to go guard this man who obviously has some hand in. Because look at this. This man tore up both of their point guards. One down, doing some, practicing for baseball, doing a little slide there. This man standing straight up. I don't know how he fell straight up. I don't understand how he got crossed over that bad. They standing straight up that he fell over. That, to me, that's bad defensive fundamentals. Let's see all the team, man. But look, he's saying straight up, gone. I don't understand. I've never seen that before. I don't know how. I don't know if there's a wet spot there. I can't defend it. But he's standing straight up and went down. I've never seen that. But all I'm going to say is that what we're not going to do is we're not going to be sending our worst defenders to go out there and get embarrassed by this man in front of his parents are probably in the crowd. Coach, like, come on now. And you see that the reactions by the kids were hilarious too. The red shirt and then the other kid was funny too. But anyways, that's how I'm going to send it off with. And that's it for me on Post Up.
All right. Okay, so Jackie, we're coming up with you. Here's another little ditty to take you into
little ditty. Little ditty.
Okay. What we not gonna do?
Okay, she went deep today. I like the switch up. I like the switch up. All right, guys. So we got a few things to get into now. Look, if you guys are out there, especially you, Mr. Sean, I see you in the chat. I'll come back for you later. But someone may need to tell Becky, Karen, Ken, and Billy that the days of caring about what you think, they're over. We just don't care anymore. And in case you missed it, several players in the NFL have said they're going to kneel, which I'm excited about. It's late, but better late than never. We've already told you about Adrian Peterson, Baker Mayfield. Somehow I missed that Texans head coach Bill O'Brien said he was going to take a knee. Not really surprised, though, because he defended Deshaun Watson against that 2018 racist who said you can't count on black quarterbacks. But I missed it, and it shocked me. So I'm excited about that one. But now we can also add Kyler Murray to the list. He's going to be taking a knee. He's entering his sophomore year, and even though the Cardinals finished dead last in the NFC West last year, he did okay. He's 64% of his passes, and we know that now with that match between him and Hopkins, all eyes are going to be on him. So maybe, there's going to be a little bit of pressure there. But he says he doesn't care. He says he's going to kneel, and he says, I stand for what's right, and that's the bottom line. I call it like I see it, and what's been going on is completely wrong, so I'll definitely be taking a knee. So I'm really proud of him for that. But real quick, I need to tell you guys, Becky and Karen and them, y'all need to understand that there's other racist terms you can use. Just because you don't use the N-word does not mean you get a pass. Anything with monkey in it, anything that says you people. So you guys, this guy went on to Kyler's IG page to say, You people are overpaid crybabies. Have fun watching your ratings tank with this kneeling nonsense. I couldn't even find them. There were so many comments on Kyler's IG. I couldn't find this one specifically to tell you his name. Otherwise, I would. But Tyler's response was perfect. He said, "You think I give an F?" He clearly said the word, though. "I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. Never have, but I know a lot of people that do. And for me, being a black man in America, if it's wrong, I'm going to say it's wrong." He went also on to say, if you have racist friends, it's on you to stop that immediately and let them know why that's not right or what's wrong with the way they think, or just opening their eyes and allowing them to understand what's wrong with their thought process. Because to be honest, I mean, we're all human, and I feel like we should be treated equally. I was with him up until he said racist friends. I don't know how racist and friends are in the same sentence, because that just is weird to me. But, aside from that, I'm with him on all of this one. I went to his IG page to kind of try to find this. He hasn't posted since Mother's Day. He posted a picture of him and his mom, and this is the picture that everyone is going in on. So needless to say, he does not have to defend himself, because there are a lot of trolls, but every troll you see, there's about 10 comments below that troll. So good job, Tyler. I don't really have any questions on this one, because I just think it's dope that Kyler's out there holding his ground, and I can't wait to see what he does next season. So this next one, though, I'm probably going to have to see what you guys think, because this next one, we just talked about the NFL and how they're going to have to play with this COVID-19 thing. I don't know. I think you take sports out of some things, though, not all. But I think when it comes to like a disease, it doesn't matter what team somebody plays on. So like, I'm not a Utah fan, but I was concerned about Rudy and Donovan. Had huge concern for Von Miller because he had asthma, even though I'm not a Bronco fan. So you would think that would just be the human mindset to be concerned about people, but that is not the case. There is a gentleman who direct message, because he didn't want it to get lost in a comment. So he direct messaged Zeke's dad, and he said this. He says, "COVID couldn't have happened to a bigger scumbag. Well deserved. This news made my day, season, and year." So if this isn't an alt-right person, I'm going to assume it's an Eagles fan, because those are the only people that I know stupid enough to say such things. So Zeke's mom, though, wasn't having it. So she originally posted this without his name. She reposted it with his name. So we see Paul Schwartz there. And then she said, but wait, there's more. And now we know that he's divorced, that he went to the University of Hartford, and he's got a cousin named Doug. So she just put all of his business out there. So I know that Twitter is going to go find him. I'm excited about this. But Britt, how did you feel when you saw somebody say this, especially about your running back? Did you laugh it off like, oh, there's just another troll, or did you take it a little bit more offensively?
I'm not surprised by what anybody posts on social media.
Right.
It's funny because my Instagram page is private right now because people just get on my nerves. But people that actually follow me say racist stuff to me every single day. I remember on the Fumble in general, like everybody used to, when I did my stand-ups, there was a bunch of people in the comments that would do the what's that gorilla that died or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Harpy or something like that.
Oh, Harambe.
Oh, yeah, I knew it started with an H. Yeah.
That time I did stand-ups, it was all in the comments. People would just write that name every single day I was working. It was there every single day. So I'm not surprised that the people are disgusting. They're horrible people. Sometimes I do want to be like, and I have in the past, like, screenshotted and posted it with the person's name and been like, hey, y'all go at them or whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, okay, I don't want to be like this bully or whatever. And sometimes it's like they want you to post them and they want to be this person that is like a horrible person to most of us, but then to their friends, they're getting high fives. It's like, yeah, we got under their skin. We're able to do this. So there's like a million different things. I feel it's disgusting though. And I'm, I hope he gets fired from his job because of this. Cause like people are just really like, some things you don't mess with, and people's health is one of them.
Right. That actually leads me into my next question, which is for you, Chris. Do you think that this is what we should do going forward? Make sure we put these people on blast so then their jobs and their friends know who they're dealing with, and then hopefully they have some repercussions from stuff like this?
It's funny you say that because I follow Trey Songz on Instagram. He's been doing that. He's been posting all the racist people that follow him, and he's been putting them up on blast, and he's just letting the comment section go to him. I have no problem with it. I think like you were talking about earlier, you was going in on Instagram and you were talking to him directly yourself, and you're going. I feel like anyway, because social media is already just so crazy as it is, and so stupid when it comes to ignorance. So I feel like any way that exposes and gets rid of these people, bullying or not, I think they know what they're doing on the other side of their keyboard. So yes, I have no problem with this. I think I'm cool with this, and I'm cool with going right at them directly, whichever way. Get them. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because they know what they do.
All right. So are you ready? Are you ready? Now tomorrow, I'm not going to do it today because it just literally popped in my head right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to sing you into your and then that way we're going to give Britt a full, complete package with music, with melody, and so. But right now, we're just going to do you.
They get mad at me, so I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, y'all. It is time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
All right, guys. Well, today for my take, somebody asked for help, and I believe, as having this platform and being as smart as I am, I'm going to help that person today. That person is Baron Davis. Now, it hurts me to even do this because he played for my Clippers. He's been on the Fumble. I did a whole little basketball, played one-on-one with him thing that we did a couple years ago. He's a great guy. We took shots of Hennessy together at the end. It was great. But we're going to put this tweet up real quick because he said something, but he's asking for help. So he said, y'all, help me. If we remove statues, Aunt Jemima, and the racist logos, then how do we continue to teach our own generation of kids about the past and history? 100 years from now, 50 years, what will be said about the time and our overall history? He went on to say in another tweet in the same story or whatever, is the removal of these statues going to create change and allow America to bury these stories? Do we suggest putting some new statues up to the people who have built America, fought for America, designed America? We need her to be included in our books. The first thing is just confusing. Like, if we remove the statues of Aunt Jemima and the racist logos, how do we teach our? If you're literally teaching your kids based off of a circle, like that's a problem right there. So I just want to say, like, did we need a statue of Adolf Hitler to tell us about the Holocaust? No, we did not. Like, what does removing the slave? I'm so confused that he's upset at us. But like, what is removing slave statues and racist logos have to do with learning about history? Like, should we now maybe just have nooses hanging on trees so when we're in a park walking with our children, we can tell them about it? Like, no, like that is, it's so bizarre to even ask that question. And I will give you guys a quick lesson because I probably learned a lot more than most people did about the whole Aunt Jemima thing. And I actually randomly took a whole class in college about the stereotype and what that meant to Black history and what that did to the Black family. So I know a lot about it. But Aunt Jemima was actually not that, and most people don't know that. Aunt Jemima was a lady named Nancy Green. She was born a slave. She literally was the first Black woman to be a model and promote ever. So she was Aunt Jemima. She did that until 1923 when she died. So over 30 years, she was the face of Aunt Jemima. She was a really, I don't want to say cook chef, she was a really great chef. Everybody knew and loved her cooking, and everybody trusted her as far as food was concerned because she cooked better than everybody else. So that's why they used this woman. It wasn't based off necessarily Mammy, which we can talk about that whole thing later. But the family of Nancy Green actually tried to sue PepsiCo, which owns Quaker, which owns Aunt Jemima, in 2014 for $2 billion because they've been using her face way long after this woman is gone. It's almost been 100 years since she's died, and they've continued this, and the family hasn't gotten any money from it. So they tried to sue for $2 billion. Basically, something happened and the lawsuit was dismissed or whatever. You don't necessarily need to take any time off because that was actually a person that wasn't based on the mammy stereotype, which they try to say now and they're trying to use now because they don't want to pay out the family all the money for using her brand and using her likeness for all this years. So I'm not buying the Aunt Jemima. They're changing the thing just because what they said, and I quote, make progress toward racial equality through several initiatives. Well, to get racial equality, why don't you pay the woman that you've made your money off of for all these years? Pay her family. That's how you do that. Not taking her picture off. You actually use that, what you've made all these years, and pay the family what they tried to sue you for 6 years ago now. That's how you get rid of that. As far as the slave owners on the statues being removed and all that kind of stuff, to his second point, which he posted that long after everybody went in on him on his comments in the first place, you replace it with Black heroes. Like, and not, I don't want to see 20 million statues of Martin Luther King because, yes, we all know he was great, but we do all know who Martin Luther King Jr. is. There's a lot of other people like Colette Cole, actually the first person who did sit on the bus, but she didn't have the pretty look that Rosa Parks did, so they didn't want her to be the face of this movement that they were doing, but she was a part of the NAACP with Rosa Parks, and so they had Rosa do it, or when Rosa did it, 9 months later, that they decided to use that as the movement, even though this young girl who was only 15 at the time was the first one to do it, but they said she wasn't pretty enough for the movement. Daisy Bates, she was big on the Little Rock Nine and helping institute that and stuff like that. So there's so many other heroes and stuff that we don't see. So replace them with those, because what I heard in Virginia, they were removing one statue, and guess what they're going to replace it with? A statue of Dolly Parton. I love Dolly, but that's not what we So I think obviously the ways we teach our kids, obviously we need to do it on our own, and we do need to start revamping and understanding these books and changing school books and whatever. Jackie, what are your thoughts on him even saying that it's kind of negative to take all this stuff down because we're not going to have our history to tell, or it's like we're erasing our history? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. That level of ignorance, it's hard for me to comment on, because I kind of just have to brush you off and be like, okay, you dumb as hell. Let's just keep it pushing. You know what I mean? It's like, there's not a statue of anything that's happened in my past, but I remember all of it. You legit don't need a statue. Yeah. And clearly he doesn't even know. I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I don't think he deserves. But he, like you said, he asked for help. So I'm going to assume he doesn't even know the history about the statues, because I would think for him, you know, it's not like we have Nazi flags everywhere. And you know what I mean? So it's a different, we don't need that. You literally don't need to know that you broke your foot 2 years. You don't still need the cast to know that. You know what happened. You know what I mean? So I think that his whole thought process is completely off. I mean, if you really break it down, we don't need statues at all, but we have them because they're decorative, you know. And if you're saying that they're going to put Dolly Parton up, like, clearly they don't mean anything. I love Dolly, don't get me wrong, but why? So obviously statues they have no real meaning, except for you want to just post something up in your little square or whatever. But yeah, if you are incapable of teaching your kids and you need a statue to do it, that's a bigger problem, and that we don't have time to address on this show. So
yeah. Chris, knowing Baron Davis, and you know, he's kind of been on stuff and tried to act like he was this, that, and the third. Are you disappointed to see that he I almost felt like somebody hacked his account and wrote that. What are your thoughts on like it?
I thought it was a joke, and then he kept going. So I was just like, oh no, someone take his phone away. I don't know if he knows what he's out there tweeting. Look, I don't know. That's not a good look. It's really not a good look, and I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things. And they're still up, aren't they? Like those tweets are still up right now. Mm-hmm. So it's just not a good look. And I just want to say maybe he's probably, just like you said, he's not informed on the situation, and he's not informed that, you know, you don't even need to be informed. It's just, you should know that, you know, history is still history, even if you need to break it down as simple as sports. Yes, there's some teams that have statues for players, but that doesn't mean you don't know who other players that played for those teams are. Like, if you need to bring it down to just sports, if that's going to help you get through, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Knicks will forever love Patrick Ewing. There's no Patrick Ewing statue in front of the Madison Square Garden. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just, it blew my mind when I first saw that. I thought it was a joke, and then he kept going. I was like, oh, there's 2 of these. So he is definitely tweeting these out right now, and he feels what he's feeling right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not a good look.
Time of the first one was at like almost 5 o'clock in the morning yesterday. So I was just like, okay, maybe he's a little drunk or like
he's half asleep.
But
but yeah, he's half asleep. He's been drinking. Yeah. All right, you guys. So I don't know what he was thinking. Like, we need a Willie Lynch statue in the middle of the square so all the black people can go, here stands Willie Lynch. Like, what? Is that what we need?
Seriously, I don't know.
Probably. And they're like, okay, imagine somebody kidnap your children and then sell them off. Where do you want a statue to be placed at? Like,
right.
We don't need statues. We just don't. Like, statues are meant to, like, praise somebody and give them like, oh, like eternal life moment or whatever. We don't need that for any slave owner, period, point blank.
Facts.
Yeah, facts.
You know, have
all right, you guys.
Well, like a Rodney King statue or something like that. Some crazy gonna come from something. I don't know. So Devin did not KD us and just like peace out in the middle of the show. Her internet was bad, so she got kicked off. I feel like it's a conspiracy theory, like they were trying to maybe get Britt, but they couldn't. Yeah, and so they message.
So yeah, it's a message. She was probably going to say something like, "Nah, let me represent," and they were like, "Let's shut her down. We're not going to let that happen." But so that's our show for today, though, guys. Thanks for watching the Fumble Live. Make sure you come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wash your hands. Learn not to use all live matter. I'm talking to you guys in the chat. I see you. And be better tomorrow. We'll see you then.